Hi, Tom Brown here with Gates of Graceland, another installment, and as you can probably tell, I'm inside the mansion, inside Graceland, in the music room, here in front of the piano and the television downstairs, standing on the white carpet. And this was going to be a special edition of Gates of Graceland because we came up with a great idea. We thought there's some great stories about the mansion and things in the mansion, and we've covered a lot. We've looked at a lot of hidden things with Angie Marchese, Director of Archives, items inside cabinets and inside drawers. We thought, I bet there's some other stories that we would love to hear, and we thought, well, why not talk to someone who actually was here before in this mansion and is here again, once again, from Memphis, Jerry Schilling. Great to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Tom.
Welcome back home.
It's good to be here.
Welcome back home. This is a very special place for you, and you always told me that there's just something about being in the mansion, and we're here late at night after all the tours have left, and the ropes are down, and we're standing on Elvis's white carpet.
I know.
And you're back home. You lived here.
This was the first place I ever felt really at home. Mm-hmm. When I moved into here and downstairs.
Right.
Just went down to my room.
Yeah, everything okay down there?
You know, speaking of secrets at Graceland that people don't know about, there's 2 bedrooms you can't go into at Graceland.
Right. Well, Elvis
is upstairs here, and mine downstairs.
And Jerry Schilling's downstairs.
And if you walked into it, you would understand for 2 different reasons. Mine was the storage room for the Christmas decorations, and it looks like it.
Yeah, well, but it was your home. It was one of your first places like that you said you felt.
Most wonderful place I ever lived.
Yeah.
You know, I felt safe. I loved it. It was home.
Yeah.
And it feels like it still.
And here we are in the living room. As I look at the long white couch, and when the fans come in, they're right over there, and they look into this room and they imagine the things that, you know, the happenings that happen in here, all the people waiting, probably in here waiting for Elvis to come down those stairs. And
I've done it many times.
and begin the adventure for that night.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of karate in here. You know, we can't sit on the couches and stuff now for obvious reasons. We used to use these pillows for Elvis to do his karate kicks on. I mean, you know. So
here in the main
living room. Yeah. When he came back from Germany, and the first time I came back up, and I hadn't seen Elvis in 2 years. I didn't know if they'd even let me back up. I'm still in high school, right? This is before I went to work for him. I come in, and he's doing karate, and he goes, "Jerry, stand over there," right at the front door. Hadn't said hello. I was glad he remembered me, you know?
Yeah.
And he came and did this karate kick, and it came so close to ruining my future family life. It was right here. So,
but that was kind of Elvis's welcome back to the group.
I knew I was back in.
Yeah.
I knew I was, you know, you didn't have to do any formalities, you know, we just did karate and...
Well, it's so great to have you back here. We're going to go over and find a spot over there, and I want to hear some more Elvis stories about this house and your times here. So we'll walk over here.
Sounds good, Tom.
Well, we found a pretty comfortable spot here in Graceland to relax and have a conversation right here on the stairway to upstairs.
Feels like the old days.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's interesting for me being here at this time of night in the mansion and just us here talking about Elvis. But for you, what's it like for you to come back in the mansion, not only at a time like this, but you've brought friends through the mansion before on tours, you know, with fans when the stanchions are up, and it's a museum and a place of artifacts, but at a time like this, it's back into being a home.
Well, it reminds me of living here in the peacefulness of Graceland, the safety of Graceland. This was the most peaceful, safest place I ever lived in my life, and it still has that feel. Everything here is like it was when we lived here, and it's just a very special feeling, and it's the most home feeling, you know, I've had.
Yeah.
You know.
And this town too. I mean, because you are from Memphis, grew up in Memphis, and have family here still today.
Yes.
And I always wondered for friends of Elvis like that come back to inside Graceland, if every time you come in, you're afraid of losing a little bit of that memory of what it was really like when he was here.
You know, it's actually worked the opposite. I think because it has been kept so much as it was when we all lived here. Even driving up the driveway, I get a very special feeling. All the times I've driven up that driveway, I've driven Elvis's Rolls Royce and his limousines and stuff, and it was just a normal thing. I'd get up and, oh, you know what, I'd take the car, and I had Elvis's credit card, you know, and I'll go to the car wash, you know, and I'd drive down the gate, and, you know, down to the gate, and act like I was so cool, you know, like it was no big deal. I'm thinking, boy, this is cool. And
It's interesting to hear you say that, because, you know, all of us fans imagine what we would have been like around Elvis, and if we could have been, you know, one of those chosen few guys that had gotten to kind of be here and hang out. And it's interesting, in some of the previous episodes of Gates, we've walked around the house and we've talked about, you know, the other people that were here, because Elvis wasn't here alone. Elvis had his grandmother, and his dad was here for a while. His mom was here with the family. I mean, it was always a family home. Lisa and Priscilla lived here. I mean, it was always a family home, and that I think still is here.
Well, I was telling some friends tonight, speaking of Grandma, her room right there. We would watch the TV in the dining room. We'd watch Johnny Carson's monologue, have dinner while it was on. We would laugh, have a great time. Somebody was going to get the films for the all-night screenings. We'd go out to the car, get ready to go, and Elvis said, wait a minute. And he would always come back in and go in and talk to Grandma. 20 minutes, whatever. So the house really had a family feel about it. I would get up in the mornings, which was probably the afternoon, but it was my morning, and sometimes I'd be the first one up, because I was still excited living here, you know. I'd go into the kitchen, Grandma would be having lunch, so I'd have breakfast, walk outside. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of parties downstairs, you know. We never take the parties up here. You know, I mean, we did some fun, like the karate things that I mentioned, but down in the pool room and the TV room, that's where Elvis would have parties. And then I'd go to my special room, you know, that people don't get to see. And in the wintertime, if it was raining, I'd put a plank, you know, to walk
in your room.
In my room. And I hadn't been in that room in 30-something years. And the tour guide said, Jerry, would you like to go in? I said, are you kidding? And the tour guide said, it used to flood down here. And they said, you weren't kidding. I said, I wouldn't kid about that. I mean, you can still see the pipes, still the Christmas decorations.
You know, and that's the thing about that, and we talked about this in the episode where we and Gates went inside and looked at it. We looked at it, and you can go down into the TV room and look at the three TVs kind of are the first thing that catch your eye, then maybe the lightning bolt, and then of course the porcelain monkey on the table catches. You can walk and stand by that door and not even really see that door, and leave the room and never know that there was a room there.
Yeah, I needed all the privacy I could get, Tom.
Exactly. Now, Jerry, we have to say something. You know, we're sitting here on the stairs leading to upstairs, and one of the things I think a lot of the new fans of Elvis, that, you know, because there are always new fans coming into the world, you know, with all the new #1 albums and the new hotel at Graceland, the new fans are coming in.
It's a great time.
It's a fantastic time to be an Elvis fan, but a lot of the new fans are finding out the things and the legends of Elvis and the stories of Elvis, and one of them is, you know, even today on the tour, You don't come upstairs, because it was a special place when he was here, and it's still observed as being that way.
Yeah, it was his private place. I mean, we spent time up there, of course. Yes. And I have to say, Lisa really wanted that, to respect his privacy, but also she told me it's a piece of her father that she wants to keep to herself. She likes to go up and look at the books that are still there when he was there, that are underlined. I have had dinner here with Lisa and Priscilla and Regina and the family, and we did go up, but it's okay if Lisa and Priscilla want us to go up there. I don't know, it kind of, Elvis always had a mystique about him. You know, you didn't know everything about him. He always had something. And I think Graceland has that with the mystique of upstairs.
Yeah, there's a little bit of magic.
A little bit of magic.
Still here that you think you want to know how the magic trick's done, but you really don't want to know.
Yeah.
You want to always have that mystery, and I think that is still here. As the fans come in, and we're so excited to be here, and I've seen fans walk in and you're just kind of overwhelmed, and you hear some fans say it's bigger than they thought it would be. You hear a lot of other people say it's smaller than they thought it would be. In your mind, it just becomes this giant mansion, but really when you do get here, it's not overwhelmingly large, and by today's standard. Yeah.
But you got to take it back. We're going back 50 years, 60 years, almost. This was a big house back then.
Sure, yeah.
Especially from North Memphis, where we came from.
Right.
We lived in, looks like the Tupelo house.
Right.
Elvis had a couple of those before Lauderdale Courts, and I lived in one across the street from George Klein on Leith Street. So it may look, if you really want to dissect it small, it's still huge to me, though.
Yeah.
It's huge to me.
You know what I've always wondered, too, being from Tupelo and having been by that birthplace and in it so many times, that if you couldn't take the entire inside area of the birthplace and put it in that living room right there.
Wow.
I mean, I imagine the dimensions are pretty comparable to that house that he was born in and grew up in Tupelo and spent time in. For you to come back here, when the fans get a chance to talk to you about Graceland, is there anything special they always want to know about the house, or just about things that went on maybe outside? There's all the legendary fireworks episodes that happen in the yard, and horseback riding on the hill over there. I mean, people sometimes want to turn it into Elvis was a prisoner, but really,
I do get that. I get a lot of, it's too bad he couldn't go anywhere, and he had to stay at Graceland. I said, wait a minute. Elvis worked very hard to be Elvis Presley. He loved being Elvis Presley. And where you and I, in our normal lives, want to see our friends, we have to go out to a restaurant or to a club or something, he had his friends and he had his family here. And he loved here. We had everything and more. So that's why as soon as we left Hollywood, or he finished a movie, he was back here. This was not a prison for him. This was more of a heaven for him.
Yeah.
It's a stairway to heaven.
We should write a song.
I tell you.
On that football field when you were a kid and walking through that door right there, your life changed.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jerry, for being here. I say, what do you say we go over to the TV, we watch a little Johnny Carson, and then we head out.
Go to the movies?
We head out to the movie.
What do you want to see?
Patton, and maybe a Clint Eastwood movie.
Sounds good.
How about that? We'll do that.
Sounds great.
You guys, thanks for joining us on the Gates of Graceland. I'm Tom Brown, and that, of course, is Memphis Jerry Schilling.
Thank you.